All right, so I have obviously made a lot of Browns videos recently. Um, haven't really addressed a lot of other stuff going on. And one thing that I have found very interesting um, has been what has gone on with these young quarterbacks, especially these quarterbacks in their first year, rookies this year, with Kyler Murray starting as a quarterback for Arizona, and the struggles that he's had. Um, Daniel Jones, who's been a guy who I said would be good. I seen a lot in him, a lot of potential. Um, Strikingly similar to Eli, a better athlete. Before the draft, really liked him. I would have loved him on the Giants. I wouldn't have taken him at 6. I would have personally taken him at, I believe it was 17. I believe it was 17. Um, but you know what? Hey, credit for them. They took him at 6. They had enough faith in him to go ahead and grab him there. And I'm a believer in, hey, if you think this is your guy, don't let him slip to somebody else because he may not be there. Um, but if it was me personally, I would have probably traded down with a team who had a lot of defensive needs. Um, Maybe jump up in front of those teams who need a quarterback, gain some picks, and let them go get the defensive players and let your guy slip. Now, we talked about Murray, we talked about Daniel Jones. Um, Not much with a couple of the other guys and your Drew Locks, Will Greer. Um, but with Dwayne Haskins, this has been thrown out a lot. And that is the question of should the Washington Redskins start him now? Um, Based off of the preseason and going into the season, they felt like Case Keenum would be the best quarterback to roll with. And I think they made the best decision starting. I would agree with that to start Case Keenum just at the beginning of the season. Um, Give Haskins some time to sit back, learn, and real game experience, real NFL games, not just preseason, but actual regular season. Just get some mental reps on how things really go. You know what I mean? Um, but with the recent struggles with the Redskins now going 0-3, obviously there's a lot of Redskins fans and NFL fans in general saying, hey, why not show off your shiny first round pick? And Dwayne Haskins, a guy out of Ohio State who, hey, a lot of people loved. Very, very prototypical NFL quarterback as far as passing wise. Big dude, sit back, make all the throws in the world. Um, so the question is, should the Washington Redskins start him now? Um, and my answer to that, obviously, I just addressed starting him at the beginning of the season. I would not. Um, but as far as right now in this moment, the Redskins' next game is against the New York Giants. Okay. Um, Case Keenum in this last game did not look very good. To be fair, he was playing a very, very tough defense. Um, but you know what? There's a certain line with quarterbacks where you have a young quarterback sitting behind a veteran player where you have to just flip it. You can't. There's a line. Once it gets to a certain point, you got to change. There has to be a change made. You've seen it with Tyrod Taylor with Baker Mayfield. Now, obviously, that was a concussion and injury. I'm not rooting for that here with Case Keenum. However, I do think that um, there needs to be a change made. I think now would be a good time as ever. Um, Looking at what Daniel Jones has done in his first game, um, I think a lot of people would love to see this quarterback matchup. I think Haskins has seen enough to mentally be prepared. People think, you don't want to throw him into the fire. What you don't realize JT Barrett went down in the game uh, in Michigan, right? Big environment. You couldn't get a bigger game. Uh, and you bring this guy in, and he lights out, brings you back in the game. Obviously, they go on to win that game. Um, he's a guy who, yes, he went to a big school in Ohio State, had all the receivers in the world, with your Johnny Dixons, your Terry McLaurins, which is a guy they actually drafted. They either draft, I think he was a late draft pick. I don't think it was a free agent. I think he was a late draft pick. But anyway, so they draft him. He's a guy who he's already has chemistry with, which is huge in this league because you have to be able to have that connection to know what your receiver is going to do and his tendencies. For young quarterbacks, this is huge because you're not mentally there yet to where you're going to know, okay, well, the defense might drop back and do this, whatever. At least you'll know, hey, I know my guy. I know what his first move will be if this happens. Second move if this happens. You have that connection. That's huge on Haskins' part. He already has that guy in Terry McLaurin there on the Washington Redskins. Now, was he his number one receiver here at Ohio State? No. But is he a guy who he has that chemistry with, who he's comfortable with? Absolutely. So that's huge. Last season, he completed 373 passes out of 533. I think that's right. That's what these numbers are saying. That's 70% completion for over 4,800 yards. Exact number 4,831 yards. He averaged 9 yards, 50 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. His longest was 78. He had 20 sacks. So this is a guy who can put up the stats, put up the numbers, and he has proven that he can play under pressure. I get it, the NFL game is different, but the argument is going to be, is he ready? Okay. Ohio State's offense is not an offense that you can just get like that. He went into that game in a tough, like I said, tough environment, couldn't get any bigger game with a lot of pressure to get the team to come back and win after your leader and JT Barrett goes down. To me, that is about the biggest pressure you can get. I think he's proved that he can do it. If I'm this Redskins team, obviously you have a tougher schedule. Their schedule is a little weird. It's kind of like a really tough game, then an easier game, then a really tough game, easier, tough. So it's not like the Browns where it's like tough, easy now. This is like an off and on schedule. They have the New York Giants next. And then after that, they face the Patriots. I understand the argument of, hey, you don't want your young quarterback playing against the Patriots. I get that. But here's the thing. You're going to have a New York Giants team with all the hype now. Pretty much all the hype that went with Cleveland has now gone on to the New York Giants and Danny Dimes. Like I said, I liked him a lot coming out. I still like him just as much. Was I expecting all this early? Absolutely not. But he's done what I think he could have done. I expected to see this next year, possibly even a couple years down the line, learning behind a guy as similar as he was. So all that hype is there with the New York Giants. For the Redskins, they're going to have to figure it out, and I think Case Keenum's just not cutting it. He has that veteran leadership. He's done it in the past, but his career has proven that he's a very average quarterback. After he left Minnesota, absolutely nothing has really come for him. I think now is a great time as ever is going to be. Have Haskins start. I think, like I said, having that receiver that he trusts, that's huge. The line's not great. Adrian Peterson's old. I got it. But I think if you're going for your best chance to win, and I think that's what you want to do, unless they're tanking. But if you want to win, your best chance right now is to start Dwayne Haskins. I get it, he's young. I get it, he hasn't had the experience. Um, but like I said, Daniel Jones didn't have the experience necessarily. And he walks in and he plays great. I know Haskins didn't have the preseason that Daniel Jones had. Um, However, Haskins did not benefit at all because of, um, he was facing like the Browns when he played the Browns in the preseason. That offensive line couldn't block to save their lives. He was running around. He's not a quarterback that's going to run around. Can he do it? Yes, but he's at his best when he is in the pocket making throws. Um, I think that I think if you put him in, you're just going to have more success. Um, I don't think it will be as bad as it was in the preseason. Um, so there you go. Give me your thoughts. Let me know if you think he should be starting. I think, uh, for me, I think it's conversation's over at this point. Um, that quarterback room is not a fantastic quarterback room, but it's a solid one. Um, as far as backups wise, with Colt McCoy, Case Keenum's there, and obviously Haskins. I think if Haskins were to start, he has guys behind him. God forbid something happen, um, who can come in and play. I think there's really no risk here. I don't think. I think you just put him in, let him learn. Like I said, he's had to learn under fire at Ohio State. Let him learn here. Okay. So let me know what you think about that. Go ahead and hit the notification bell. Um, Subscribe, like this video. Tell me what you think. Share it if you like it. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.